Okay, well, let me start by saying my name is Dave Foley, and I work for Hasmark Publishing International. And the reason we're having this conversation right now is to talk about Charlie's new book. So, Charlie, I'm going to get you to introduce yourself a little bit because I know you have different names, pseudonyms, and you were talking about being Twigs or other things before on your Facebook uh, live, and I thought that was hilarious. I really love that. So, if I don't know if you remember what you said, but just kind of go through that a little bit, maybe.
Well, depending on who is talking to me, I'm either Charlie, or if I'm on Twitter, people tend to call me Broken Twigs, or if I'm on Facebook, I tend to be Lottie Lou. So I'm known
Oh,
by quite a few different names.
Lottie Lou. Yeah, that was good too. Yeah. I was wondering what that was when I first saw it, and I finally put two and two together. So that's pretty good.
Yes.
I love your book. I've been working. I just finished working on it a couple of days ago on the
Oh,
Kindle
wow.
version of your book,
Oh,
the
wow.
Kindle version, and it's great. It looks great. One of my favorite parts of the book are the illustrations are so
Mm.
beautiful. Yeah,
Keziah did an amazing job.
Zaya did such a good job. And I don't know if I can share my screen, if this will show up in the video or not, but I'm going to do this right now so we can talk about that a little bit. So you see this illustration here. When I
Mm.
first saw this illustration, I thought, well, she must have copied that from something else. But the
Yes, but
thing
no.
is, but no, because all of the illustrations,
Hmm.
look at the speed, you can see how fast they're running and stuff.
Yes.
That'll be an
It's
edit.
phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
It is, yeah.
Oh, I loved that one. That was one
I
of my
I
favorites.
cannot believe how well that turned out. Like, did she do this with pencil?
Yes, yeah.
Just
The texture of that bark. She let me know that with twigs, just drawing twigs herself, it takes 6 different types of pencil
no
to
way.
get all the shading. Yeah, I know, it's
Oh my.
unbelievable. So
Wow.
that's the amount of work that goes into every single one of the illustrations. Just for
Wow.
my little fairy, it's 6 different pencils to create all of the shading.
Huh. Well,
I
I've never seen any kind of illustrations like look at the detail.
know,
Just
I
the
know.
work that went into this is a beautiful, beautiful book. So of
Thank
course
you.
these all show up beautifully on the anyway, there's plenty more. I'm not going to give everything away. I just want to I just want
Spoilers.
to talk about it. I just that was one of my favorite things. We do a lot of children's books, as you know, and
Mhm.
these kinds of the artwork is just phenomenal. So it makes for a great book, absolutely great book.
I love to
And
hear from Keziah. She said she was so happy to do this
yeah,
because obviously the style is completely different to what she normally does. But she found it very challenging, but she found it so rewarding. She's loved it. And that's been so nice to hear.
you know, I call it a children's book, but really the age group is a little older,
It's middle
right?
grade. So, yes, about 7, 8 upwards.
Middle grade. See, I didn't really know how to young adult
Hmm.
or whatever the words are. Middle grades, yeah, 7, 8. Okay,
And
yeah.
upwards.
So
Yeah.
there's more writing in the book than just
Hmm.
the couple of sentences that you would have in a children's book
Yes.
so it's really meant for that age group. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's written well for
Yes.
that. And they would understand the concepts probably a lot better than little
Hmm.
kids. Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Excellent.
definitely.
Excellent. One of the things that I really loved your little analogy of the duck that you were talking about as you were preparing for your launch,
Yes.
and basically going through your terror barrier. We deal with that a lot
Hmm.
with authors, and I think that's such a funny story. So can you explain the duck analogy?
It was, yes, I can. It was obviously going live, the terror of going live for the first time and trying to maintain the serenity in front of the camera, whilst underneath the camera, I had my little bit of tack that I was pulling to bits and kind of, I was flapping basically underneath the camera. You couldn't really see that, but it's the idea that the duck is very serene on the surface, but underneath it's paddling furiously. And I said, that's me on a good day, trying to stay all nice and serene and calm for the camera, but underneath I'm just paddling frantically and just hoping for the best. I said, but on a bad day, I'm the upside down duck. So my head's in the water and my legs are in the air
Oh,
flapping away. That's
That's
generally
funny.
my terror barrier.
Yeah, well, that sounds about right too, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we all feel that way sometimes.
Mm.
That's
Hmm.
actually very funny.
And I think on
And
this journey, I've realized how many authors do feel that way.
yeah, yeah,
There's so many, because you're putting your heart and soul out into the world to be judged.
and that's the
And it's
thing.
terrifying.
Yeah, that's the
Mm,
thing, when you do put yourself out there, your creativity, your
mm,
imagination goes into your book.
mm.
And it's so scary when the idea, because as soon as you put it out there, it's out there
Hmm.
for people to love it or to
Yes,
trample it.
yes,
And that's the scary part, right? You don't want, obviously
really
nobody
is.
wants to be trampled. It takes a lot of courage to do
Mm,
that.
mm,
So I absolutely respect it. I get it. I commend you all authors on for doing that. That's a big deal,
hmm.
and congratulations on doing that. I
Thank you.
good for you. It's and I think I always like to talk about who you become on the other side of that terror barrier.
Mm,
So once you've gone through it, it's not that you're still going to have a certain amount of fear to do it again and
yes.
again and again and again. And every time you write
Hmm.
a new book or such, but it's easier and easier and you know what to
Hmm.
expect. And I bet
Exactly.
you didn't get trampled, did you?
No, I haven't yet. So
Yeah.
that's good. That's very
so,
good. I've had lots of positive feedback, actually.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
That's
really lovely
wonderful.
to hear.
And I saw you on Facebook the other day. You did such a wonderful job with that too. Actually,
Thank you.
everything was it's just so fun. It's so much fun. So I know
Oh,
your big day is still coming up. And
yes.
even though, in the inner circle, we're seeing your work and such, and
Hmm.
so that's pretty cool. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was you had this night before a
Yes.
story that I really wanted to hear, because this is the backstory. This is kind of
Hmm.
um, again dealing with the fear and such.
Yes. Absolutely, because as you guys know, Twigs is incredibly real for me. She's been my class fairy for the last 9 years.
Right.
So she's not just a character in the book. And I think for me, putting her out there into the world, it's even scarier because she's so real to me and she's so real to the children in my class. And to put her out there, I can almost imagine, I was saying the other day, I can almost imagine having a conversation with her the night before launch day, and would be sitting there and she'd be telling me she's scared, as I am. She's used to just being in the classroom where it's safe and it's familiar, and all of a sudden we're going to launch out into this huge platform and we don't know what it's going to be like because we've never done it before. And there's a beautiful poem that just really resonated with me, and I just love it. And now every time I hear it, I feel quite emotional. Um, and it goes along the lines of Twigs is telling me how anxious she is about launching the next day. And she says, "What if I fall?" And then I reassure her and say, "Oh, but my darling, what if you fly?" And
Yeah.
it's that real moment of understanding that yes, it's terrifying, but you don't know how successful you could be unless you take that leap of faith. And it is a really big quantum leap of faith.
It is.
And you just have to go for it. And you have to get through that barrier. You have to, otherwise you're not going to succeed in anything. You're not going to achieve your dreams. And this is such a big dream for me, and it's such a big dream for Twigs. And the children in my class who I've taught over the last 9 years, I mean, for them to be able to see Twigs in a book that they can pick up and hold in their hand and know that they were part of her journey too, for me is just, oh, it doesn't get better than that. It really
Well,
doesn't.
yeah, exactly, right. And how do they feel? So
Mm,
now exactly what you just said, they get to hold it in their hands as
mm,
well, and
yes.
they get to take that with them for the rest of their lives. So you're touching an awful
Mm,
lot of hearts along the way,
absolutely.
and
Absolutely. One little fairy. One little fairy.
yeah, yeah,
She's terrified and I'm terrified. But do you know the best response I suppose I had after my first live? One of the children that I taught, she's now 15, but one of the children I taught, I started teaching her when she was 5. And when Twigs came to be, she was 7. So she was one of the first pupils to get to know Twigs and to understand Twigs's magic. And I'm still in touch with her. And one of the loveliest things that happened after my live, when I broke through that first terror barrier, she messaged me and she made me cry for all the right reasons, because very simply, in a nutshell, she told me she was proud of me. She was
Oh,
proud of me for writing a book that she could hold in her hands. And I'm getting
oh,
goosebumps now just thinking about it,
so am
because
I.
that
Yeah.
that is a 15-year-old girl who I absolutely treasure. And she has reached out to me and told me that I've made her proud. And that's just, phew, what can you say?
The lives that you're influencing,
Mm,
and the hearts that you're touching, again, I said, it's so incredible where this takes you.
mm,
And again, what you're doing here is you're literally crashing through that terror barrier
mm,
to the greener pastures, if you will, of goodness. There's so much wonderful um, your experiences for you and for them,
mm,
for the people you're helping along the way
mm.
and influencing. So what a great legacy, what a great role model you are for people and
Thank
other
you.
authors as well. But in general, that's wonderful. So thank you for being so
Oh,
awesome. We
thank
love that.
you. Oh,
Yeah,
but I think it does help to get that team around you, that team of people
yeah,
who are really cheerleading you, who believe 100% in you. Because I think from my entire journey, from start to finish, I've always adored Twigs.
yeah,
I've always known that
yeah.
I've wanted to be an author. Twigs gave
Hmm.
me that pathway. But without the support of my family and my friends and you guys, who I know
Yeah,
all believe in me,
yeah,
would I have
yeah,
been as brave? I don't know.
yeah. Well, we were
I
just,
hope so.
we were just looking at the images that are some of the images that are in your book. And so you can see the quality of what you're producing. The product that you're putting out there
Mm,
is of that kind of caliber that's going
mm,
to be attractive to the right people, that your intended
yes.
audience. So it's so perfect. It really is.
Thank you.
And
Thank
yeah,
you.
you're nailing it right on the head. It's awesome. Thank you so much. Excellent. I think that's a wrap, really. This is
Yay.
great. All right. Let's say goodbye to
Brilliant.
everybody at home. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye bye.